There are many things to say on a first date, but what to say is the most important question. While it can be tempting to go out and talk about your favorite sports team, it's better to keep it light and breezy. If you're not sure what to say on a first date, here are some examples of what to say. What to say on a first date can be confusing, especially if you're dating someone new. The most common first date questions include, "How was your date?" and "What do you like to do?" Here are some tips for asking these types of questions. Be sure to choose the appropriate date type for the person you're dating. If you're looking for a date with someone who is more outgoing than you, your first date might be a night out at a club. For someone who is reserved, your first date might be a dinner or a movie. When you're thinking of what to say on a first date, you'll want to be sure that you make it fun for both parties. It's important to remember that the person you're dating is not the one that you'll be sharing the world with forever. Make sure that you're being fun, but not too fun, when it comes to dating. If you're nervous, it's okay, as it will reflect on the date. If you're too outgoing and excited, your date will be uncomfortable. When it comes to talking about a date, there are many things that you can say. When you're on a first date, you can start off by asking a question that will open up the conversation. Where did you go on your date? We'll get the conversation started. If you're not comfortable talking about sex, it's okay to ask your date about his or her preferences. When it comes to what to say on a date, you can't be too casual when you're talking about sex. If you're on a first date, you might want to ask your date what he or she wants to do on their date. If you know that the date isn't going to last long, you might want to be sure you know what you're getting into before you decide. Once you know what you want to do, make sure you follow through with it. Don't rush into anything and make sure that you're comfortable with the date. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay to end the date and look for another date. There are many things to say on a first date, but the one thing to remember is that you don't have to say everything. If you're not comfortable, don't worry about what to say on a first date and let the date go by. Some people don't like to talk about sex on a first date. They're afraid that they'll say something that will make the date uncomfortable. That's not the case, though. You shouldn't let the date be uncomfortable for you. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay to look for another date or a different date. If you're afraid of what to say on a first date, you can talk about your feelings. It's okay to say things like, "I'm not comfortable with it, but I don't want to be uncomfortable either." Or, "I don't think this is a good idea, but I'm afraid it's going to be a turn off for you if I say that." If you're scared, be honest about it and let them know. There are many things to say on a first date. You'll need to talk about what you like and dislike about your date. You'll also need to know what you want from your date, what your date wants, and what you want your date's date to do on the date. If you don't know the answer to any of these questions, make sure you ask. Once you've talked about everything that you need to on your first date, make sure you take it easy. If you're still nervous, don't be afraid to end the date or look for a new date. When you're nervous, it's okay to look for a different date or try again.